matter with the talk. Your life, your wahala, your breakthrough, idea. Welcome to the chat room.
This no be ordinary place. Now a solution they show face. Lady Mary they lead the way. With guess where go blow your brain. Talk your matter make we solve 'em. No judgment, just love and wisdom. We dey discuss, we dey learn. Every episode you go feel the burn. Oh, the chat room. Now here we dey find a way. Oh, the chat room.
Oh yes.
We go talk and clear, no delay.
No delay.
Oh, it's interactive, educative, informative, and unapologetic. Oh, the chat room. We unstoppable, no be lie.
You.
Hey, the chat room. Hey, now here we define the way. We the chat room. We go talk and clear, no delay. No delay. It's interactive, educative, informative, and unapologetic. Oh, the chat room. We unstoppable, no be lie. Oh, the chat room. Now here we define the way. Oh, the chat room. Oh yes, we go talk and clear, no delay. No delay. It's interactive, educative, informative, and unapologetic. Oh, the chat room. We unstoppable, no be lie. You.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to you all, depending on what time it may be at your end. Welcome to the chat room, a platform dedicated to resolving daily life issues. Over here, we talk about your problem, my problem, and everybody's problem. And as I hope that we would be able to help address many of these up and rising issues that are happening within our homes, within our relationship, marriages, and even in raising of our children, and of course, building a community around us as well. My name is Lady Mary Bodu. I am your host for the chat room tonight. I'm here with my co-host, Nanaya Sapon, joining us all the way from Virginia. And I have Auntie Nana right here in the room with us, joining us all the way from the United Kingdom. Auntie, thank you so much for always making yourself available
Pleasure.
whenever we call you to the chat room. But before we start, I want you to introduce yourself, and then let's talk a bit about your book, where we can find the book, what you do, and all of that good stuff. Thank you so much.
Okay. My name is Nani Wiswafin. I'm no stranger to this platform. I'm a social worker by profession. I'm an author as well. I authored a book in domestic violence, sort of raising awareness around domestic violence. I'm a mother of three, and I'm a mother of two. Sorry, I don't know where the three came. I'm a mother of two daughters. Yes.
Thank you so much. Nana, would you introduce yourself for us? Nana, I think you're muted.
It will help if I took it off. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nanaya Sarpong. I'm the co-host of the Chat Room Show. I'm a mother of three and a wife, and I've been married for about 15 years now. I'm also an entrepreneur. I have an African inspired fashion line called Obianana, and the website is beneath my name here. Visit Obialene and shop. Thank you. I'm excited about this conversation as always.
Thank you. So Auntie Nana has a book, and the book is about domestic violence. Auntie Nana, do you mind? Let's talk about that book for a minute. Your reasoning behind writing that book, if you would.
Okay. I mean, during the lockdown in 2020, before the lockdown, actually, there was a lot of hype and stories going around in terms of statistics, whereby the ratio was 3 to 1 women to 3 to 1 women get killed every week in domestic violence. And working in the social field and sort of at the more or less working in a MASH, which is a multi-agency safeguarding hub, I got a number of referrals. And in social work in itself, about 99% of what we do is around the impact of domestic violence because it does impact on family functioning.
Yeah.
And then we went into lockdown, and within the first 2 weeks of 3 weeks of lockdown, 13 women had been killed by their spouses. It's a different story because we are all locked down and we're all living in the same place, not going to work. Familiarity was breeding contempt. And the contempt was such that abusive men that women could escape with work and other outdoor activities, they could no longer do that. So they were just indoors. Professionals like the police had to seek permission to go into homes. And therefore, if there was abuse going on, and the woman, 9 cases out of 10, was not calling. Even when neighbors called and the abuser got to the door, they could say there was nothing happening in the home. I wouldn't allow you to come into the home based on what was going on. So when it came to light that a number of women's lives had been taken, and I'm talking about actual lives being taken and not those who were sort of lost their lives through homicide, because it was actually dying in the home as a result of the abuse. I just thought, you know what, this is what I do. I mean, I've had so many cases where I've dealt with women and men, for that matter, around domestic violence. So, and therefore, I had to raise the awareness. And I had to raise the awareness from the age of 16 years when people got into friendships and relationships and that they thought that was the end and be it all. People needed to be aware of what relationships entail and how they could empower themselves so that they did not become another statistics in the equation. So I wrote a book with the title, My Home, My Hell. Should I stay or should I go? And that book looks at right through from friendships, myths around domestic violence, what you experience, why you continue to stay where you are, why you don't move on due to family pressures and whatever. Quite a number of examples given in the book, the types of domestic violence that people encounter as young as 16 years of age in any relationship, and then how to get out of a relationship and the resources available for you.
Thank you
So
so
in a
much.
nutshell, that's the book.
That's what the book is about. Thank you so much. Truly appreciated. I bought one of the book and I read it, and I think that there's so many things that we usually overlook. And so I know the book is on Amazon, so if you have access, please do. Those in Africa can get it from different places, and we will let her put that information and before she leaves tonight. But before we delve into today's topic, we are looking at I'm trying to be super careful not to, to catch myself in the word. But we're looking at suicidal thoughts in bad relationships, how to deal with it, how to overcome them. But I'll let Nana come in and take over, and then I'll also come in. Nana, please go ahead.
Okay, so and Auntie Nana, you're going to be doing most of the talking today since you're the professional. So I would say, to begin, tell us what you see in your field. What is the most cases you see when it comes to, self-harm, somebody in a relationship getting to the level of harming themselves?
I mean, it's quite a difficult area because most people don't really talk about it. they sort of are very silent. Suicide is not something that people talk about it, but because they keep it so much bottled within and do not
Sorry, not to interrupt, Auntie Nana. Let's use the word self-harm so
yeah,
we don't get taken
yeah,
down.
yeah, okay. So like, so the level of self-harm that people get into that sort of impacts on their mental well-being makes it very difficult for them to be able to open up. And sometimes the person actually going through a lot and struggling, the day before or when you meet them before whatever happens, they are the most liveliest, chattiest person you come across, the life and soul of the party. For them, that is their get out sort of phase before they do whatever they want to do. It is not something when you are going through difficulties or abuse in a relationship leading to self-harming. Do not feel that you are the only one going through this. That's the first thing. It is not something that you should be ashamed of. It is something that you should seek professional help. There are so many ways of seeking help when you are in a situation like that. You can either sort of go to a trusted friend, a pillar of support within the community. You can go and see your doctor. You can see a trusted family member that you can confide in. And then we have something called the child line for the children who are witnessing their parents go through very low moods. They can actually call child line and speak to them. They will get a lot of support from there. And that support would impact on the parents as well. You can call, I do not know about America, but in London, you can call the Samaritans as well. And then you can call the police if you feel that low. That professional would be able to help you. You can call social services, but most people sort of shy away from calling social services because they feel that if we talk about
Yeah.
self-harming, my child can be removed. But
Yeah.
that's not our role. We are there to empower, to support. People have our profession very wrong. There's a lot we do that doesn't show in the media or is not talked about. But we are actually there to make sure we empower families and support families. So if you're going through domestic violence per se, there's a lot of help out there. But before anyone can actually reach out, most of the time, they are so down, they don't think you can do anything about it.
Yeah.
They're very depressed, and some people can't stand the shame. It's not something to be shameful about at all. So I see that a lot. But it's up to the professional to be able to unpick what the person is going through.
Quick one. Do you believe that our backgrounds contribute to this, and this as in us, whether men or women, shying away from talking about the things that they are dealing with, the things that they're going through? Would you say that our backgrounds, how we were raised, perhaps contribute to this?
It does significantly, because it's more or less like growing up in most homes. It's like children are to be seen but not to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you are going through is just get on with it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give you an opportunity to dialogue. So you feel that when you are going through this, it's even your fault that this is happening to you in the home.
Yeah.
When you are experiencing abuse from your partner, people struggle to reach out because first and foremost, they feel it's even their fault for making their husbands or their wives lash out at them. They feel it's something they are not doing. They cannot talk about it. They feel they are going to be ridiculed by their peers. They cannot talk to the family. It all depends on the level you see that relationship. Because for some people, being in a relationship, being called Mrs. is a big thing. So if in my relationship, I'm going through difficulties, I'm afraid to reach out, because if my relationship breaks down, it's like it's a smear on my family. I brought shame onto my family. I brought shame onto myself. I have to be in that relationship because I don't want to break this so-called safety that I have for my children, the stability my children have. I do not want to break it at all. So they will suffer in silence. But as I always say, there's a limit to human endurance. There's only so much the human body, the human mind can take. You can take so much abuse, but sometimes you get to a mental breakdown point. And if you don't take care, where you go and see the doctor, there's no harm in asking for going to see your doctor and getting medication. Medication is going to be a period of time. If you do not want to take medication, there are other ways of empowering you. Like you can talk to people. There's even a line that you can call and talk to them. They don't need to know who you are, but someone at the end of the phone who is listening to you and would be able to signpost you for guidance. So do not suffer in silence. There's no medals, as I said, there's no medals to be won. We have one life to live. It belongs to you. It's down to you to empower yourself. Do not break because you can always walk away. Whatever you hold dear to yourselves, feeling that if I move away, I'm going to lose it all. When your life is no more, everything you wanted to protect, be it physical things or your children or the man or the woman, they will move on. They will live their lives. You would now become a statistic, and there's nothing you can do about it. So please, don't suffer in silence.
Yeah, and based on Lady Mary's question, I know that yes, our background, especially being from Africa, or let me say West Africa, where we're from, a lot of the times we are suppressed. We have to suppress our feelings, right? So even when we're going through difficulties, it might be even hard to tell your spouse, you know, especially if you're in a bad relationship. If you can't talk to your spouse and you can't talk to a family member and you can't talk to any of your friends, that's a really difficult position to be in, right? So it's helpful that we have avenues, we have resources that we can call outside of the people that are close to us, because you know, you might not want somebody to know your business if you don't have like a trusted person that you can rely on, you know, which is what a lot of times holds some people back from, you know, talking about what they're going through, right? So we are in at an age where resource is plenty. It's plenty. There's no reason why anybody should suffer in silence, right? And I believe that if somebody comes to somebody like you, Auntie Nana, everything is confidential.
Definitely.
Confidential. So for people that may feel that, like you said, you know, if I come out and I say that I'm having these self-harm thoughts, that they may take my children away, you know. So tell us what happens in that process. Like if I'm feeling, you know, that I'm going to, I'm just in a depressive state that, you know, I might harm myself. If I come to someone like you and I express that, and I have children, what is the process?
Okay, when you come up, I mean, sometimes people self-refer to us. Sometimes they are referred by the police. Sometimes they are referred by their GP. And it comes across as, I mean, mom is experiencing mental health because she's depressed. But when you actually sit down and you talk to them, you get to the root cause of what the problem is. But it's down to the professional to unpick rather than to be in a position where someone who is already finding it very difficult to talk and the professional comes to sit in front of them and is trying to make assumptions. You've got to give them the chance to talk. So we have an assessment process we follow where we talk about the child's developmental needs, parenting capacity, and environmental factors. Where I'm talking environmental factors, you're looking at the finances, which often impacts on relationships. So it could be that they are going through difficulties in their finances and therefore it's impacting on them. It could be that the lady or the woman is being abused financially in the relationship. That woman is not able to empower herself in any situation. It could be so many factors in the environment, in the community, about their housing needs, about their finances, about their employment. A lot of things can impact on relationships. And then you begin to think, I can't take this anymore, because it's a matter of who do I talk to? Some people have gone for loans, the loan sharks, they are looking for them. I mean, they are struggling in the relationship. And rather than reaching out and rather than realizing that yesterday's problems is today's solutions, you finding out how to solve them, then you just want to self-harm. When you self-harm, you have left a very different problem even behind for those
Yeah.
you've left behind. It will be very difficult if you do not communicate in a relationship where your partner was not even aware this was going on, only for them to find out when the worst has happened. How are they going to be leading their lives going forth? The people that loved you, if they were not aware of what you were going through, it comes as a shock. So it's a knock-on effect for family members if you're going through difficulties in your relationship. So if you're in a relationship, do not bottle things up. Speak out. So communication is key. Don't think you are the only one going through the problem. No, two are better, the two heads are better than one. So if you bring it up and it's not working, there are so many ways of you can actually even go to the bank and defer some payments. You can borrow money sensibly and pay it back, but just do not suffer alone. And to be honest, if you cannot pay it, you cannot pay it. Let the worst happen. You are not going to be killed. Sorry. You're not going to be harmed. So at the end of the day, you need to speak out. You just need to speak out to find resolutions.
I wanted to say something. Nanaya, if you would. We've sent out the link. If you're able to, please share the link with your contact and
Yeah.
on your WhatsApp status. Perhaps if you're on Facebook, we are live on Facebook via Lady Mary Boadu, and then YouTube is via Gold Legacy Radio. So you can do well to share the links, or if you're on Facebook, you can also do well to share it as well, so that those that follows you would be able to have access to the live. As you were speaking, one thing that came to mind was is submission. A lot of the times, I don't know if I should limit it to a particular group or race, but to be submissive. And that's why I asked that question, if you think or believe that how we were raised contribute to these factors. Because to be honest, growing up, Nanaya, I don't know about you. Auntie Nana, by the way, she's my cousin. But I don't know about her, but growing up, I never really, Nana, ever heard my dad or my mom saying, telling me how much they love me, how beautiful you are. Even, I don't know, Nana, was it different? Because, I mean,
It was the same. It was the same. I mean, like if I dressed up and we're going somewhere, my mom would say, "Oh, look at you! You look beautiful. You look nice." But it was not a regular thing. That was like,
yeah.
to install confidence in you. That was one of the things.
Yes. So one thing that I'm really intentional about with my kids now, I mean, they don't leave the house without me telling them how valuable they are, how smart they are, how intelligent, they are above and not beneath. I mean, all of these things, we're being very intentional about them, because I realized that with the oldest one, we have a very good relationship, but then I realized I could have done better. We're okay. We don't have any issues. I mean, we do everything. People think she's actually my sister, but I think that really goes a long way when it comes to, raising a child to become an adult. I never heard my mom. And even when you made mistake, when you went to school and had a C or a D, you were really made to feel like you are the dumbest person. I mean, you'll be beaten and all of that. And I don't think we realize how much of an impact these things have on our children. being here, after coming to the States for so long and going through middle school, high school, and all of that, I learned that even if the grades are bad, it is my responsibility to encourage them. So there are two ways to say things, but African parents, oh, what bon? Like literally, you are dumb, your friends, and then the comparison. So I believe or feel that at times, some of us also allow ourselves to stay in these relationships because where we are coming from is nothing to write home about. Or even if I go home, what is there? I'm going to be told to go back anyways because my mom endured it. My grandmother endured it. So I'm gonna be told to pack my bags and go back. You don't leave your husband home. So I wish that women and men or parents raising boys and girls children would be very intentional and realize that in raising of that child, you are preparing somebody's wife and somebody's son, so that when they go into this relationship, they are not with the idea that I've paid a bright price or I am the head or I'm superior over you. So you, the woman, you have to control me. I really wish that we'll get to that point. Because I feel like it's a beautiful thing to be able to have an issue with the woman you are with, whether in relationship or in marriage or whatever, and sit them down, talk to them like human beings, rather than treating them like, I don't want to use the word, but I don't know why I'm so passionate, but it hurts, especially when you speak to women and you see so much value in these people, but they don't see that in them. And parents, they don't help because I went through it. Oh, my friend, then the comparison, this person did this. I don't think it helped. Nana, please go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take up so much.
It's okay. You're right. Building confidence in children goes a long way for their self-esteem as they grow up to become, value adults, to become people that they themselves can like being. You have to like being in your body. Last week, when we had Lady Amy on, she said, she made a statement and said, if you don't take anything away, just take that. Healthy minds stays alive. Okay, there's nothing wrong, and that's what I want us to be able to draw home. That there's nothing wrong with feeling depressed or feeling that being so overwhelmed that you feel like you need help, right? But the thing is, to recognize that you need help is one thing, but to actually take the steps, right? Take the steps to ask for help. Depression is normal. Everybody goes through it, right? But some people, because the stress becomes so much, and then your mental health starts to deteriorate, right? That's what the self-harm thoughts comes in. So we want to be at a point where when you recognize that, you seek help. You seek help. And like Auntie Nana said, it's confidential. Everything is confidential. So Auntie Nana, let's maybe do like a case study. You're muted. You're talking.
Okay, muted. Sorry. Yeah, I want to say that to what you just said, people should realize that there is nothing wrong with seeking help. There's nothing wrong with seeking help. There are those who kind of relate this thing to, you're mad, you're this, you're that. I'd rather seek help. And early intervention is the most important thing that anybody can do to themselves.
It's
I think
imperative.
Early, don't just listen. I always say that if a man hits you once and you allow him, either you sit and talk to him or address the issue. If you choose to let sleeping dogs slide or sweep it under the carpet, trust me, if he hits you once, he's going to hit you twice and it's going to continue. He's not going to stop. So don't say, this is the first time he's hitting me. Perhaps maybe I made him, and women, we do this so much that we always want to kind of like defend these acts of some people. And I don't know if men do it, because I know for sure there are men that get abused, but they probably don't come out to say it. You know, because Africans, we say that men don't cry or men don't show their emotions. I believe it's wrong.
Mhm.
It's never too late. I believe that if it happens, it has to be addressed. Don't wait. Don't make excuses thinking, oh, it's just the first time. You know, it's the second time. Perhaps he's not going to change. You have no idea what monster you could be dealing with. Nanaya, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to say, I know that some cases, all cases, I don't know. Tell me if that's if you can't really talk about something. But I just kind of wanted us to have like maybe a case study, like a situation that you can share with us,
Okay.
about somebody that was in that situation where, they were at the point because of their relationship, they came to the point where they were thinking about harming themselves. Like if you can give us like a case study and then kind of like walk us through what the process was and what the outcome was.
Okay. I mean, what I can say, but unfortunately, was this person was male, not female. But
Okay.
then he was in a relationship with his partner, and this lady was very powerful within the community. The family were very powerful, and then he was also equally doing well. They were both in the legal field, so that means that there's no barrier to people bad relationships. It is not only people who have nothing to do that end up or struggling in life that end up being in difficult situations. These were powerful men and women in society.
There are rich people who
Rich
harm
people,
themselves.
looked up to them, they commanded respect, but this man was dying within. Actually, the day he told me his story, which I wrote in my book, I was shocked. I started off by laughing off, like, it can't happen to you. I don't even know why I'm coming to talk to you. I know you left her, but I don't even know why I'm talking to you. And she said, no, if you're writing a book, then I want you to tell my story. So I was like, wow, that's good, because I haven't found a man to sort of balance the equation. But then he was in this relationship where he felt that if he spoke about the abuse, they would damage him. So he kept quiet. He got harmed once. He ended up in hospital. He tried to minimize the situation.
Was it like a domestic violence?
It was a domestic violence.
Domestic violence, wow.
Yes, and this harm came from the lady. But then when he went, he was given excuses, and it happens to women. He fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
But he knew it didn't happen. The
Wow.
only time he decided to speak up was when the lady threw the cup of hot tea on him, scalded him, and he thought, that is it. But it had to get to that, and this was witnessed by the daughter. So for him, that was his breaking point.
Yeah.
But for some people, they would bottle it up until they can't take it anymore. They just have to give up, and they would give up.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean, they would self-harm to the extent where they never found a solution to it. So it's a very difficult place to be in, but it's very important in any relationship. What is the relationship supposed to do for you? That's the first thing you need to ask yourself. A relationship should be a place. That's where the title of my book came in. My home should be the place where you can come in and relax and be yourself. No pretenses. This is me. Parade the place literally the way I want to. But then it's your living hell. You're walking on eggshells. If you are going through that situation or that feeling, then you're not in the right place. You need to begin to dialogue with yourself. You need to ask yourself, what am I doing here? Why am I here? Sometimes get a pen and paper. Why am I here and why am I not out? How do I get out and how do I better myself? I have told people, when you find yourself in this situation and you are in a position to plan an exit, plan an exit.
Plan an exit.
If you cannot plan, exit. Just go, because Your life is more important than
It
anything.
is.
If you
Yeah.
have your life, you can change it. But
Yeah.
if you don't have it, other people that you have loved will bear the impact
Yeah.
and input of the actions that has been meted out to you, be it from yourself or from your partner in the relationship. Any relationship should bring you joy. Obviously, there'll be misunderstanding, there'll be arguments over things like money, how, and even that one, even if you plan it well, if you
Mm.
dialogue, if you talk about it, it's not a big deal. If I've lost my job and my partner has lost the job and I'm working, let's talk about how we can
Yeah.
manage with a
Yeah.
meager
The way forward.
sum.
Yeah.
So exactly, let's find a way out of it. But then if you don't talk about it and you keep quiet, in another case I know of, there was a man who had also lost his job. Every morning he got up and went to work. Same time, came back, but the man was not working.
Mm.
He was
It's
not in
home
the
his hell.
exactly.
Yeah.
He would go in the morning like nothing happened.
So how I, I had a thought. Okay, what you're saying is so real that
Mm,
when not I know we are talking about relationship adults, but then there are even children or individuals that when they're leaving home, they are so happy to leave the house. But then at the end of the day, the thought of sitting in their car, jumping on that bus, getting in that taxi, coming back to that toxic place
mm,
becomes a living hell. Because and it's so funny. I say that it's just like having a bad job. You wake up in the morning. Let's say you start work at 7. Before
mhm,
7, you are wishing that it's 3:30 because that's when you're gonna close. And it's like that with people in bad relationships.
mm.
So before you are so happy, you can't wait for the morning so you can leave that house. And then when it's time to come back, you wish it's already morning where you are coming out. Like it's really messy.
Yeah.
It's pretty messy. But let me just say this, please, if you're just joining us, we are looking at overcoming suicidal thoughts in bad relationships,
Mm,
harming yourself, while you're in a bad relationship. That is what the conversation is about tonight. Ways, what to do. I want us to plan the talk about the planning of the exit too, but I'll leave that to Nanaya because most people would say, well, I really want to leave, but I don't know. And I feel that sometimes, yeah, they truly know they want to eat their cake and have it. But you have to get to the point where you realize that, well, I can't eat my cake and have it. Some people are so comfortable, they still want to depend on the person, maybe perhaps giving them money, how they take care of them, yet you're being abused. And so they don't want to leave there because there's something that in their mind they think they'll be losing when they leave. So Nanaya, please go back. And if you're just joining, please share the live overcoming suicidal thoughts in bad relationship. How do we deal with this? Please go ahead.
It's not, like when you say that, sometimes they want to leave, but, or they know they should leave, but they don't want to because I guess there may be nothing out there for them. It's really, I have not been in the situation
mhm.
before, thank God, but I can imagine that, and this is like a switch up for me because I'm always the one like leave, and I'm still, I'm still in agreement with that. But I want to empathize with the people who are in that
Going through it.
situation that maybe they have a family, they have children, right? And some people, especially, I would say mothers, we will rather take the pain than put our children in a discomfort, put our children in a position where they may not be comfortable, right? Is it right? No,
No, because
it's
Nana,
not.
if you if
But
you are
we
not
do
you are
that.
not able to take care of yourself,
But we do that though. We say, this is their home. This is their home. I'm not going to take the children out of their
out of
home
their
for
home.
my comfort, right? But what good are the children if they
Yeah,
keep seeing you suffer and
suffering.
suffer
Exactly.
and suffer,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Can
That's what
I
I
just
want
say
to
that they
drive
don't
home.
only see you suffer, they
You're
hear
doing
you
them
suffer.
no favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing them no favor. It's easy. It's not going to be an easy process. But if you are well mentally, if you have your peace of mind, then you can concentrate on raising your
Yeah.
children and providing for them
Yeah.
the things
Yeah.
that you feel like, they would have gotten in this home that you are suffering.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me say, Lady Amy's watching, and she said sometimes it's due to lack of options preventing people from leaving. You know, going back to our homes, somebody in Africa, West Africa, Ghana, right? They don't have options. They do not have options. The husband is taking care of the bills. The husband is the one giving them money to eat. The husband is the one that's like paying the children's school fees. If you take the children out of the home, I am not paying for their school fees. You cannot afford to take care of the children. So then what?
Can I just say that you need to think of self-preservation. That is key. You need to think of wholeness. So when people say you don't have options, I always say this, that when people get into relationships, they settle. I am married. I have settled. And we even see it in jobs where people get into good jobs and they don't find ways of moving up in their job. They get somewhere and they are comfortable with it.
Yep.
At every stage, try and see what's the next step for me. Do not settle. So when it comes to what are my options for me, if I'm in a relationship and the man is paying all the bills and the man is doing everything, I'm also making a contribution in the home, whether the man likes it or not. You may not see me as making a financial contribution, but I'm keeping the home. So how am I keeping the home? We have these hands. How creative can I be? What I'm cooking in the home could be something that others outside may need and pay for. So I can start my small business at home if I have no qualification at all. It's how you package what you have in your hand would make you so resourceful. You could even be richer. It is not the 9 to 5 jobs that gives us money.
Yeah.
It is the sidekicks. It's the side jobs we have that puts food on the table or gives us the ability to save. So wherever you find yourself in, if you are not that educated and you want to educate yourself, educate yourself. I keep telling people, when we give birth and these children go to school, 0 to 3 years old, they are speaking the Ghanaian language, especially us in the Western world. But these children go to school and pick up the English language like nothing. They bring books in, read the books with them, let them read it to you. Do not be, when your children are growing up and learning and you do not have the ability to be, also have the opportunity to learn with your children. There's no shame. There's no shame. Whatever you do, do something. There are classes out there in the system you can attend. If you do not know, ask. It's important to speak.
And that's one of our problems.
That's a problem. We do not talk.
We don't want to ask because we don't want people to know that we don't know.
Exactly. But the best friends you can ever make in the Western world, when we are back home, the good friends we had were the boarding school friends we made along the way. But when you come into the Western world, the best friend you can make is the parent friend you make at the school gates of your daughter's or your son's school.
Yeah.
Those ladies you meet at the school gate, that they are all taking their children into class, the ones you chit chat with are the ones who give you all the local gossip and what is out there in the community.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, find out.
Yeah.
Who is the donkin in the playground? Who is that parent that seems to know it all? Even if you do not want to associate with them, at least speak to them. Ask them questions. Go to the library. The library has a whole lot of resources you can access. Children's centers, they do.
Yeah.
So find out, but do not sit down and say, I don't have options. You have options. The most important option you have is your ability to speak out. That's your first option. Who do you speak out to is very important. So look for someone who's trustworthy. That's your first option. Your first option can give you a resource that could change your life. So you can start off by saying, I don't have any options. I don't know what to do. But if you go and see your GP could refer you to social services. So that's, you have options. You just not utilize the options. So nobody should rely on your husband or your wife, and think that there's no way out. There are always ways out. Those children that we are protected, the worst thing you can do is when they throw it back in your face.
Yep.
That why did you not leave mommy? I heard you when daddy and when you were fighting. I heard you when daddy said this. I mean, they get so upset with you. And then you know what? They take it on into their future
The
relationships.
relationships, yeah.
You don't want your child to do that.
No. No.
You don't want your child to come and tell you that, or you do not want to see your child being abusive to their wife and not even being in a position to protect her or him, because you know it would come back to haunt you by they telling you, what did you do about it when you were going through? What gives you
tell
the
you
right
about
to come and
yourself.
talk about
Exactly.
my relationship? But I'm telling you, your son or your daughter would be so proud of you. Mommy was able to get out of an abusive relationship, made something of her life, and now look at my mom.
Yep.
And then when they learn a lesson from that, so when they are in that situation, if they happen to be in the same situation, they know
how to handle it. Yep.
They don't have to accept it, and they know to leave. You know, set an example. It's very important. And you know, the main thing basically that we're all trying to say is your mental health should supersede everything.
Yeah.
It supersedes everything. If you are well, even when you are in the plane, they tell you, you know, if something happens, make sure that you have your oxygen mask on before you assist someone.
Anybody else,
right?
Yeah.
Naturally, as mothers, we will want to help our children first.
Absolutely.
But if you can't breathe, you can't really help your child. So let's kind of look at it in the same manner that you need to take care of your health. Your mind, it's basically where everything starts. You know, so if you're not well mentally, and if it's something that's causing, if the thing that's causing you to be mentally ill is your relationship, then, you know, you have to seek help. You have to let that, at the end of it, if it is your relationship, you might have to let the relationship go. But if, let's say it's someone, let's just, you know, bring it home and say that, indeed, this person has nothing. Okay. This is somebody that was basically taken from their parents' home. We know that it happens. Taken from their parents' home and placed in a marital home, where the only thing that they do is take care of the house. You know, they don't have anything to their name, right? Let's just say that this person did not save any money, which goes to say that no matter what situation you're in, money comes in your hand. Try and save some of this money. Just by the way, try and save some of this money. So if you're in a situation where you need those funds, then you can access it, right? So let's say this person has nothing. Nothing. What if they need to leave? I know in America, there are shelters that they can go into, right? Lady Amy gave us, I believe, 988. Like if you're having self-harm thoughts, that's a number that you can call. But they are, depending on where you are in the state. I know that, you know, where I currently work, I deal with I don't work, I'm not in the program, I'm in finance. But some of the programs that I oversee the budget for is, you know, domestic violence and sexual assault. So we have like shelters, safe houses, right? That people who are in these situations can go and stay until they get themselves together. I don't know if, you know, a lot of our audience are based in Africa, some in other, you know, other.
I think we have fair good enough of like everywhere.
So I can't speak for other places, but I can speak for the U.S. In the U.S., there are safe houses that you can actually stay there for free. You and your children, you can, if they need to move you the children out of your school for safety, they will move their children out of the school, but they will still have school to go to, right? And you, as the mother, they will help you. There are people who can help you find work.
Yeah.
You know, they have job coaches that will help you find work. They will help you find apartment, they will help you to get things done.
Yeah.
So for someone in a country such as this, really, there's no excuse. If you're back home, and again, I can't speak
No,
for
those back
Ghana
home in
because I don't
Ghana.
know the resource they have.
No, those back home in Ghana, you have the ARC Foundation.
The what foundation?
The ARC Foundation.
Arc
The Noah's Ark.
Foundation,
Yes,
okay.
so you have the ARC Foundation.
Okay.
There are so many other people. If you listen to Joy FM, I know of a guy, Norte who has so many links as well that he would be able to help. But the ARC Foundation is one of the places. Even if you go to just Joy FM, you can speak to someone. But do not sit in silence. If the police station is where you go and you are ridiculed, even these days, in the police station in Ghana, there is someone who would help you with domestic violence.
Do you know why I'm laughing? I'm laughing at it, and I once heard a story of a young lady who was being abused by the husband in somewhere in Africa, and she called the police hotline, and the police told her she would need to come and pick them up
before they could come. Yeah.
Before they could come. So as you're talking about that, it just came to mind.
Yeah.
But I mean, imagine.
That's crazy.
This person is, busy trying to harm you, but I can that be something that we can probably look into? Maybe perhaps try to look to see the different countries if possible.
Yeah, I mean, even if you
get some information on hand, just in case,
but even if you don't, even if you call the global, just the DV hotline, if we all have our phones, you have internet, just type DV hotline.
Okay.
Call onto that line and tell them where you are. They will find resources to help you.
Sure.
So don't sit down and say there are no resources anywhere. In the UK, we have something we call the refuge. The thing about it is that if you do not have your status in the UK, no refuge will pick you up. Okay. But the social service department are mandated to find accommodation for you. Okay. So there's a way out. Do not sit in that home. And please, one thing I would say is, most people, when they call out and the police are removing them from an abusive home, when they get to that point, they just leave. When the police is with you, you are in control of the situation because you're not going to be harmed. Make sure you take your phone and you ask to take your passports or any identifying documents that you have. Because if you leave that home without those documents, they can make it very difficult for you. You can go back with the police to search for it, but if it's not there, it's not there. What can you do? So whilst you have the opportunity and know where your stuff is, take as much as you have, even though you do not know where they are taking you. Take as much as you have. The police will try and say, just leaving is important. But you know that without your identifying factors, you are going to meet hurdles along the way. So grab things. I would always advise people who want to exit, make sure you've packed your stuff, your documents. If you feel that this husband of mine or this wife of mine feels that if I leave, I'm going to leave with the children and does not want me to take the children, and you know that this is his perception, before he even thinks, you can take the passports and everything out of the home. You don't know where the passport is. It's one issue. I don't know where it is. We would all look for the passport, even though I know where the passport is. We will look through top to bottom. But you need to plan your exit. So keep identifying factors. If you can't keep it somewhere safe in the home, then you need to keep it safe with someone. Last week, Sunday, or was it last weekend on Sunday, London was doing something about, there was going to be an alarm on our phones where the alarm was going to go off at 3 p.m. One of the things that social services were told to tell families that were at risk of DV who had phones unknown to their partners, they had to make sure that phone was completely switched off or kept away from the property. Because I remember my daughter's alarm going off, mine going off, and the other one's going off. So can you imagine if your husband thinks that's the only phone you have, and then 2 alarms are going off? He becomes suspicious. So we had to make sure that people that could potentially find themselves at risk had those phones totally off.
Yeah.
So please, you are not alone in this matter, but be smart about the relationship. Know who you are living with. Marriage is the only place you sleep with your enemy. You live together. He's your enemy, but you're in the same household.
Yeah.
That is what you know. It is not, you should know your partner and be able to act wisely. Don't take anything for granted. When you find yourself in an abusive relationship, it's on, you are, as I put it, you're already on slippery slopes. You're on roller skates, either going downhill or uphill. Decide which way you want to go. But make sure that you plan your exit and plan it well. If you know he's hit you once, as Lady Mary said, you give him the chance to hit you a second time. You wasted your time because he's taken you for granted from the get-go. He would come begging, apologizing. Once he disrespects you and you accept him, I'm sorry.
You do it again.
You do it again and do it again and do it again.
Yeah. So let's talk to the people around us, the people around these situations, like the people, the loved ones, the so-called loved ones that, you know, a lot of the times some people may not come out and say that, okay, I'm not well. I'm feeling this way because we are trained to take the hard stuff, right? To suppress our feelings and to not share. Suffer in silence is basically how we are trained. So for those people that are around someone that we can see clearly that this person is not themselves, right? This is not themselves. This person seems different, right? How do we start the conversation to try to uncover what's going on? You know, sometimes people want to talk. They just don't want to be the people they don't want to be the ones to initiate the conversation. Like, you know, if I'm feeling some way, I may not be in the, you know, in the mood to be the one to say, I'm not well. Yeah. But if you clearly can see that this person is not well, right? And we're not talking to those people that will tell them to, you know, go back to your marriage, hang in there, do this. That's not the people. I'm talking about the ones that can actually help, right? Or at least guide us in how to go about that conversation if you see that someone is clearly suffering in their relationship.
I mean, it's very difficult for someone to see because most of the time, those people going through the difficulties try and cover up. I have seen women that have bruises on their face, and my God, the makeup on their face alone would be enough for about 2 or 3 other ladies. So people try and cover up, but
trying to cover up.
Yeah. If you are that close to someone and you know the person's mannerisms have changed, the talkative person has suddenly become quiet. The quiet person has suddenly become talkative. Begin to watch them. Watch them first before you pounce on, because it's very important to be able to have that conversation at the right time. Otherwise, you may never get that opportunity to save that person. So watch them, observe them. I had a very good friend. I mean, she's late now, but she was going through this abusive relationship. But God, she was so flashy around us that you wouldn't even think. It took my sister to come and visit. And then she said, you know what, watch this. This is a facade. Then I began to watch her.
Pay attention.
And then I picked up. And then when I confronted her, she broke down. And if I'm telling you, all I had to say to her, what do you want to do? She said, I wanted to move out. So now we had to plan get away. Someone packed out of the house within 3 hours. But we planned this. Kids came over to me. She was in the home, but we planned it for the whole week. I said, leave everything in the home as it is, but know where everything is. We had boxes flattened out, tape measure, the sellotapes and everything ready, removal van ready. We knew when the man was going to go to work on the Saturday morning. I picked up the kids that I was taking them somewhere. So she had 3 hours because the man will be back by 1. So we called the removal van to be in the house by 12. We packed everything. The man did not even know. This woman moved around and put all her things together. So what she wanted to leave behind, she didn't touch. She didn't pack, but she knew how to pack. We had labeled the boxes, kitchen, living room, bedroom, everything was done. We just started packing. The night before, we knew where she was going. We had tidied the place. It was ready for the boxes. She moved out without the man knowing. And the man always knew that the mastermind behind this had to be me. But he never got to know about it. Because we all moved in silence. We did. Look, when you want to move, that's when you have to be yourself. Do not let the man know. Most women who go shouting, I'm going to leave you, I'm going to leave you, are the ones who harm themselves or get harmed.
Yeah.
Because now the prey is thinking, the predator is thinking, my prey is going away.
Yeah.
My punching bag is not going to be available. My servant is not going to be around. And then they get angry. They don't even realize that what they are doing is wrong. They feel you are a chattel in the home and they can call and use you at their beck and call.
Yeah.
Plan your movements in silence, but plan it well. Your exit should be orchestrated in such a way that whoever your abuser is left in shock. Because they could not even believe you had the potential to get out. Much more move out with such precision. So do not take these things lightly. Plan it. You are not a wicked person, but circumstances have made you behave that way. And to be honest, it's for your own preservation. Then I don't care what anybody thinks. It's about me. It's about my self-worth. It's about my dignity. It's about my wholeness. You can say whatever you want to say, but you haven't walked in my shoes. And I would not want you to walk in my shoes to tell me how to run my show.
I read a comment for you, Anton, and I have a message on WhatsApp. Excuse me, it reads, it says, so in this case, what do you do when the abuser in question, who is the husband, happens to be someone that was introduced to you by your parents?
Are your parents married to you? Whilst you're married with your partner, are your parents the one looking out for you? And it's always difficult because you feel you have to do things for your parents. But no, it's your life. Your parents have their lives. There have been situations where people have not spoken and you get their fathers telling them, if I knew, I wouldn't have allowed this. So don't presume that my parents would not be happy if I leave the relationship. Think about, my father would not be happy that another man has raised a hand to beat the child up.
But in some situations, the parents don't care.
Yes. And if the parents don't care, it's your life. You know what? As Shakespeare said, this life is a stage. We are all living our parts and moving on.
Yeah.
And that's why if you are going to follow the hierarchy of things, the parents should go first and then the children. Yeah. And if it's not happening in that way, fine. But my life is my life. If I'm not happy in my relationship, I cannot be happy for my children. And if my children are not happy, the cycle would go on. So I will nip it in the bud than to please my parents. And if you're not happy about it, tough luck.
Just because
you
were the mastermind behind the relationship.
Doesn't mean I should stay there. And it may not even be it could even be your friends.
Your friends, yeah.
You may end up losing a whole social circle. So what?
I'm laughing at the comment.
Men should also, Daniel, I've just seen Daniel's question pop up. Daniel, when men speak up, there are services out there that can help the men to go.
We spoke about a man.
Men should never sit in an abusive relationship. The man, look, in London, for instance, we had a talk, and there's a whole service that supports men with domestic violence incidences. Men go through horrendous times with abuse, because even when they are the victims, they initially are seen as the perpetrator. And I work with a lot of these women who are so abusive, but come to us as victims. And by the time I've unpicked them, they'll go on their merry way with me. And I can assure you, they do go, because I know that men get abused. I had a situation where one woman living in one geographical part of the UK was telling us that she brings the daughter to school every morning within an area where I worked. The logistics didn't sound right. So I said to the worker, call that school that this child is supposed to be attending, because she had left that geographical area to come to my area. And they were like, no, this child has been in the school. She was even in school yesterday. So I picked up the phone and called the lady. And I said, by the time I've read this route up to you, there are two options for you. You are either going back to that geographical area you were to claim as a victim. But I'm telling you, if anyone comes telling me that you are a victim, I have a report for them for you. And the school is, and I made the school know what she had done. So to be honest, men are portrayed, especially in the Western world, as the perpetrators almost all the time. But most of the time, they are the actual victims. But because they fear that the children will be taken away from them, they stay put. This impacts on their mental health. This causes them to even become abusive. That's why, and even sometimes when the women leave with the children, the men are stalking the family. And at that stage, it's also equally very risky for both the women and the men at the same time.
So let me ask. So in a situation where, the man is being abused, right? And the woman comes out because, the man came and sought help, right? So the woman also start pretending that she's the one that's being abused. In that situation, like, how do y'all determine to really figure out who indeed is being abused? Because I can see where a man will come out and say that they're being abused, and then the woman also will come and cry wolf.
And it happens.
Yeah, we have so many ways of finding out.
I would say records
of the children.
Yeah.
Where we started talking, sometimes the victims themselves don't even talk, but it's the child who refuses to go home. And that's where it comes to light, what is happening behind closed doors, because the father or the mother would never have raised TV to anyone. But when the child decides, I'm not going home, then the teacher is asking, why are you not going home? Because last night daddy did this or mommy did this, and they do it all the time. Oh my God, the child will be a singing parrot. They sing. So we get to know, they talk. So you get to know what is happening in the home. And that's what happened in lockdown. If you realize in the UK, there was an early advocate for people to come to school, children to go back to school, because we realized a lot was happening. But because the children were not in school, we couldn't tell what was going on. So once we got them into school, we knew what was going on. So it was a good thing that happened for children. So when we do have an assessment where we need to speak to children in isolation of the parents, so in a situation like that, we speak to the children. And the stories that the children will come up with, they don't lie. I've had a daughter break down because of how the mother was treating the dad. And, when the mother was talking, the child was like, no, that's not true, stamping the feet. And when you get a scenario like that, you know what is going on. But I always say that some professionals have their roles and their remit, and they support the women blind because they need to support the women. But every social worker needs to look at the impact on the child. So whereas my remit, a women violence situation, they are looking at how to support the women. But a social worker is looking at how to support the family holistically. So how am I looking at the child, the mother, and the father? How is every action taken by the parent impacting on the child? So I'm going to look at that, and then we are going to talk about it. As I always say, the truth would always come out. So in the process of the assessment, we pick up a lot. Sometimes the men, and we do liaise with partner agencies as well. So maybe the man has gone in confidence to the GP to talk about an incident, unbeknown to anybody. But as part of our assessment, we are obliged to do checks. So when we get that information, it more or less negates any negativity that has come out from what has been said by the lady or the man for that matter. So please reach out to professionals as early as possible. They will signpost you appropriately. Do not wait till things have become so bad, you think there's no exit, and then you harm yourselves. Or you reach a point where you put yourself in a situation where it's difficult to exit, and then you keep taking the abuse. But remember, there's always a breaking point. No matter how hard you try to stay put, you will break. Something will break you. If it doesn't break you, you will see your children breaking and you will sit up. Yeah.
Someone is asking a question, but we have a few minutes. It says that between emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, which one is worse?
All abuse is abuse.
Exactly. Emotional abuse can end up becoming psychological abuse. It can affect your mental well-being. You get into depression, and then you're going down the slope. Physical abuse, the end state of physical abuse could be your death. So that is also serious. The most important thing is that live whole. Live whole with your mind intact. The best form of revenge is to live well. If you want to leave your partner, live whilst you're still ahead of the game, and make sure you live well, that when that abuser sees you, they can only see you with admiration. But they shouldn't leave you worse off than when you left them. They should not leave you worse off than when you left them. When the best form of revenge, keep moving. No matter what is happening, better yourself. If nothing at all, let your children get somewhere. Be proud of what you have achieved. But do not wallow in misery that when this person left me, there was nothing I could do. As I said to you, your hands are your resources. Be creative. Think about, what can I do best? What do I know best? I may not be an intellectual, but when I know of people that have fried buffaloes and donuts and are millionaires. It's good for them. Or they are cooking wache by the roadside. These are the mothers with the money, not the man that gets up in the suit and goes to work 9 to 5. No. So think of something and tell yourself that, look, I'm going to equip myself with whatever I can lay hands on. But what I'm not going to do is to live in misery. You have one life. I don't know how long I'm going to live. We are losing friends at 40s and 50s. And you are living in the hope that you'll be 80. But what if you are 80 but unwell?
Thank you so much, Auntie. Nanaya, do you have a question? But that's
I do.
You have okay. Ask your question and then we'll
advocating for the men. Have you seen that, or have you seen a lot of situations where they may become abusive because they started at the receiving end of the abuse, right? So whichever way, it could be physical, could be emotional, could be whatever way, okay? So they are on that side receiving the abuse, right? And because they are men and they feel that if they come out to say that my wife is abusing me, it's not manly, right? It's not manly. So then they decide to exercise their strength, right? So if you're going to hit me, I'm going to beat you up. If you're going to do this, then I'm going to, counter act and see, and basically it becomes a violent home or, an abusive home because the woman starts, and because the man cannot or feels like they can't come out to report, then they are going to exercise their strength, right?
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of situations?
I see a lot of that, but what I always say, and I did say in my book, is the man is the weakling then. If a
You said the
man,
man is what?
the weakling.
Weakling.
Because
The
if
weakling.
you want, yes, the weakling, because you need to fight with your match. Go out there and pick up a man on the street and beat them up, but don't beat your wife. To lay a hand on your wife and expect your wife to be obeying you and doing what they have to do in the home is a different story.
Yeah.
If you cannot take it, dialogue, find a way of resolving it. Resorting to violence is the last thing you do, because when you resort to violence, now you are the perpetrator.
Yeah.
Everything is going to go against you, to the extent that sometimes you need to resort to going to the courts to have contact for a lawyer or a judge to be able to tell you can see your child between 12 and 3. You can see your child in a children's center, in a confined space. Why do you want it to come to this? By becoming so abusive that it takes a legal system to put barriers in having contact with your children. And even for some cases, you cannot even see your children till they turn 18,
Right.
or the children feel old enough to come and visit you. Why do you want to do that? If you want to be in your daughter or your son's life, be a good father. A good father does not hit the woman. They don't.
Or abuse them in
I
any
know
way,
that
even if it's not hidden.
If it's not
I
here,
know that women can goad men and men can goad women, vice versa, for them to become abusive. But walk away.
Walk away. Yeah.
Walk away from that situation. Come back when you have cooled down. Sit down and talk about it. If it's not working, there are other options for you. But to resort to violence, I cannot advocate for you.
Yeah. I like to call it as weighing your option and always making sure that you're picking the right one for you, because there are several options, but pick the best one for you. And in this case, choose your peace, which is, walking away so that you don't end up being tagged with being abused, if any. Nanaya, do you have anything you want to say finally? It's 5:19. Our live is, it's,
do you want to go ahead and read comments first, or?
Oh, well, I projected most of the comments, so, but I can still, I projected all of them, but I just want to give shout outs to, before Antonina gave us her final words. Dad, thank you for joining. Mr. Adu is actually tuning in from Germany, and I know it's super late there. Thank you for always tuning in. Miss Amy, thank you, and we appreciate you for coming on last week to give us those great nuggets. Ohimana Nama, thank you. Susan Tilly, you are welcome. Joyce, thank you for tuning in. Auntie Gladys, thank you. His servant Kusi, thank you so much. And Lorenzo the Great says he's watching us from Westland Boulevard. We appreciate you for watching. To everyone that tuned in on YouTube, Pastor Florence, thank you for watching. I can't see all of them in YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, well, people are watching us from their homes. I'm getting screenshots from different places with the family watching together. That's a blessing. Yeah, but thank you so much for tuning in. Next, we're going to continue this topic for the entire month. So please look out for our next session. We have another great speaker coming from the UK as well to join the conversation next week. Auntie Nana, would you give us your final words before we leave for tonight, please?
Okay. What I would say is that living with abuse would always take its toll on you. And therefore, know who you are living with. Protect yourself. Always think about self-preservation. Think of your peace. Think of wholeness when you are ready to leave. Most people would stay in abusive relationships in the hope that when the children are old enough, they can move on. By the time the children have left the nest, you do not even have anything to move on to. So you keep staying in that relationship, and then you become so, I don't want to use the word bitter, but so bent out that you cannot say anything positive even in social circles. You cannot even advise young people who come up to you. Do not live with abuse. Move on. If you can't speak out, plan your exit and move out. And whenever you have the opportunity to move out, do not leave anything behind, because you may not have the opportunity to come back into the home to pick up the valuable stuff. And if you have valuable stuff in your home that you treasure more than your life, get it out of the home and keep it with friends. Friends you can trust.
Thank you so much, Auntie Nana. Nana, do you want to add anything? There's 2 questions here, but I've screenshot them for next week when we come back. We will try to address them.
Yes. So what I want to say, it's like I said, I'm going to advocate for the men today. So as much as we always talk about, women in abusive relationships, and we want to recognize that there are some men that are also in abusive relationship because they are the ones that don't want to retaliate. And because you hit me, I want to hit you back. Because you insult me, I'm going to insult you back. Because you did it to me, I'm going to do it, right? Those men, thank you, first of all, for doing that. Secondly, you don't have to stay in that abusive relationship. You're not a manly man because you are enduring abusive. It doesn't make you a better man. It doesn't make you a better person. It does not make you a stronger person, right? It literally, nobody should accept anything that will cause your mental health. You should not. It's not worth it. I know that, it could be in a situation where it may take a while, because a lot of the times reality is women are believed over men in these situations, right? But stand your ground, seek the help. If you know that you are in the right, it's okay to speak. Speaking and seeking help does not make you weak. It does not make you weak. Your mental health is not worth anything in this world. And that includes looking strong. You're not weak. So stand up if you are in a situation where you are being abused as a man, mentally, physically, however, speak to someone. And again, like Auntie Nana said, it's confidential, right? So that's all I wanted to put out there.
Yeah, thank you so much all for tuning in. Again, those on YouTube and those on Facebook, we appreciate you. Auntie Nana, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you so much. Next
pleasure.
week we have Nut coming in, and I believe it's going to be an amazing one as well. Nanaya, thank you. Always. God bless you.
I wish there was actually a man that was bold enough, that has actually gone through the situation and was bold enough to come over here and to talk about it. That would be so helpful.
We can try to find out.
Yeah.
All right.
I can speak to a couple of men and see if they would want to come and talk about it.
Yeah.
That has been through like a situation.
Yes.
Okay.
And I know one who is training and supporting men.
Okay.
So even if I could get him to come and talk to, because he's in the UK, to come and talk on the show, he would be able to take it from the perspective of men.
Right.
And he's a Nigerian gentleman. He's called Yemi. I would reach out to him.
Sure.
And ask him. Yeah. I'll ask him.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your life, your wahala, your breakthrough, idea. Welcome to the chat room.
This no be ordinary place. Now a solution, they show face. Lady Mary, they lead the way. With guess where go blow your brain. Talk your matter, make we solve them. No judgment, just love and wisdom. We did discuss, we did learn. Every episode you gon' feel the burn. The chat room. Now here we define the way. The chat room.
Oh yes.
We go talk and clear, no delay. It's interactive, educative, informative, and unapologetic. The chat room.